Right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us in this meeting again. We are back on our monthly meeting, Homecare Research. Last month, we did have Miriam from CAN, that's the Caribbean African Health Network, and she was talking about patient public involvement and engagement in the home care setting. And this month, I'm happy that we are going to continue along the discussion PPIE. And this month, we have taken a twist because we are going to invite someone with lived experience as a carer. And I'm glad to have this person on this platform because they are quite experienced when it comes to getting involved in research. And I'll give them a chance to introduce themselves, and they will take us through their presentation. We won't have slides this morning. It will mostly be a discussion. So those that have got questions, you can put them on the chat, or you can raise your hand, and if you want to ask at any point, you're free to do so. So let me welcome Rachel here. Rachel, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Sorry, I was just unmuting there. Yeah, I'm just
going to... great.
Yeah, great. I'm just going to here. Yes.
Yes. Rachel, do you want to start by introducing yourself to everyone? We are recording this meeting, and it will be posted on our YouTube account. Will you be able to maybe start by introducing yourself, and we go on into your presentation this morning? Thank you.
Okay, so hello everybody, I'm Rachel Hill. I'm 55 and I live in North Yorkshire at the moment. I suffer with mental health problems myself. I have done with anxiety and depression since I was a child, but I also care for my father with dementia, my elderly father who lives just locally. So I left my teaching job in 2016. I was a secondary school teacher, but my health became too bad. And after a time of feeling very lost and upset with having to leave teaching, I discovered PPI. And since then, I've been working in PPI for about 8 years, and it's absolutely transformed my life. Having a voice to make a difference means so much to me, not just for my own personal needs, but for my father, and for my wider family, and of course for the world in general. Who doesn't want a better world? So I work across several organisations. I work with universities like King's College. I work in some NHS services like the NIHR, the NICE guidelines, the Health Research Authority, and also in my local community groups. And as a carer with Dementia Forward and the Alzheimer's Association. So I've got fingers in lots of pies. And I find that I act as that bridge between the researchers and what they want to do and what they want to achieve, and actually the real needs of the service users, of carers, of the patients. So that might be for, what do I need as a carer for my dad, and what does he need? And quite often there's a gap between what researchers think we need, or the services that we need, all the gaps in knowledge, and what we actually do need. And that can sometimes be wildly different and wrong. So I act as that bridge in PPI to make sure that what they're researching is relevant and it is meaningful to us, and also to ensure that that research actually gets to the people that can use it to make a difference. And I think that's so important because I've seen lots of research before where they've done some fantastic research. They've come up with, this is needed by some, better support's needed, whatever it may be, and it's done. But what's happening with it? Who's listening? Nothing's actually being done with it. So I can help ensure that gets to the policy decision makers, the people that can say, okay, this is what's needed. Let's take this to NHS England or to our local GP management group, and let's put this research into practice. So I hate seeing good research done, but then wasted because, surely what's important is the impact it has. And PPI is becoming much more widely accepted now. And in fact, researchers can only get funding if they include good PPI in their work. So there's a real need for researchers to know what exactly is needed. And that's also where I am doing some involvement, because people say, I'm going to do PPI. So I've come up with all this research, and I'm just going to show it to some public PPI groups, public patients, and see if they approve it. That's not really good PPI. PPI should start right at the beginning, and we're not just involved at the end of the research, we're involved throughout. And there's a real misconception between what researchers think is good PPI and what actually is. And PPI involvement should be right at the start. So even before they've developed their research question, they should be coming to us as people who know what we need, who live the problems daily, and saying, what do you need? What would be the questions we need to be asking here? And then it's a real involvement throughout the whole process, not just at the end. And then afterwards, when the research is done, we know about the results. We're not just said, right, thank you for your involvement, off we go now, and we never hear from them again. No, they show us the results, and I make people accountable for what they've done. So I want to know, how has this work we've done affected people? What difference has it made to people's lives? And in good PPI involvement, it makes a difference. So, for example, I did some work with King's College London on the recent Mental Health Act, and the changes that we suggested were actually put into a paper that went to Parliament, and were included in their draft up for discussion, which have recently been implemented in the new parts of the Mental Health Act. So that was a really positive example of good PPI. It's not easy. It's not easy for us because we're dealing with quite emotional stuff, and there is frustration on our behalf when we don't see things getting done. And it's hard for the researchers because they have maybe got to change their ideas, think in new ways, make sure to be inclusive all the time, and be prepared to admit they're wrong. And, this is the path we were on, but this is the path we realised that we should be going down. So it's a learning process for all. There's real power sharing in good PPI. Previously, we were the people that research was done to, and it's in good PPIE, it's research is done together. It's a real collaboration where there's no hierarchy really of who's most valued, who's more senior, who's more important. And this is a brilliant example. The floor has been given to me, not by somebody talking about PPI. We Rachel does this and Rachel does that. Here's me showing up and talking for myself. And there's a lot of myth busting to do.
Right.
Sorry, have I spoken enough now?
No, no, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
Are you sure?
Of course, if people have would like to ask a question, I would say you're free to raise your hand because we want it to be very interactive. So if
Yeah.
someone
Oh,
wants,
right. Yeah. Oh,
if
that's
somebody
brilliant.
actually wants to raise a question,
Yeah.
please feel free.
Yes.
So, but you can go ahead, Rachel.
No,
I
no,
don't
sorry
see
to interrupt
anybody
you.
raising
I
their
could
hand.
I could talk forever about the
Yeah.
benefits it's brought me, but please do put your hand up and ask a question because yeah, I'll go on because I'm just so passionate about this.
About yeah,
Um,
maybe I can start off and say, Rachel, how did you actually get involved? Because people would say, yeah, so I want to get involved, but how do you actually what would be the first step? How was it like for you? How did you actually get involved? You mentioned that you were a teacher,
mm,
and of course you're looking after it, but how did you get to know that you can actually get involved in research? Because
mm.
some people actually don't know how to get involved.
Mm. It was by chance, really. It's something that I'd never heard of before. And I subscribe to Mind, which is a mental health charity in the UK.
Yeah,
And I always read their emails on information. And they came up with an opportunity for a PPIE for a job, which I thought, oh, this is interesting. So I applied for that. I didn't
yeah,
actually get it. Um, but through that, they then sent further opportunities. And the internet's a great thing, isn't it? I
yeah,
looked into this word. In fact, it used the word lived experience. That's also used a lot, people with lived experience. So through a Google search, I found King's College London.
yeah,
And obviously with the Google, it just spirals from there. It leads to this, it leads to that. But that's initially through Mind. Now, for anybody that's interested in taking part in research and in starting this journey, I have lots of websites that I could recommend. I'm sure, Irvin, you have as well. But I would recommend joining the newsletters of an organisation like the NIHR, the National Institute for Health Research. And they have really
yeah,
good examples of PPIE. Um, NICE, the National Institute of Clinical Excellence. I could always I don't have any slides. I'm not a
no,
slide
no,
person,
no worries
but
at all.
I can always ask Irvin to send out a chat recommended so in an email to everybody recommended sites. I know that King's College London, University College London, they all have dedicated sections to getting involved in research, and there is so much out there. So
Right.
that was how I initially got there.
Wow, interesting stuff. So you mentioned NICE guidelines, and amongst many other projects that you've worked on, right? I understand NICE guidelines. As a doctor, we always refer to NICE guidelines when we want to, treat anybody. We want to prescribe medications, everything. We will look at NICE guidelines. It would be interesting to know what was your involvement in NICE guidelines for other people to know as well. Yeah,
Okay, so there's lots of opportunities with NICE. You
yeah,
can join at quite an intense level. This is for people
yeah,
with lived experience as a PPIE role. And as well as you can join as a professional, as a clinician, as a doctor. So you
yeah,
need to look at their job opportunities and you could join a committee. Now, a committee goes on for about 3 years, the service of tenure there, and you are invited to several meetings a year where you will look at developing guidelines on a specific topic. Um, I have applied for lots of committees, but they're very oversubscribed. I haven't actually made it onto any committees yet,
yeah.
but there is lower involvement, not of importance, but
Right.
one-off meetings. So I have joined workshops. I recently did one on developing a new drug for dementia. So
Right.
it was it was a new drug that they wanted to trial, and I did a day's workshop. I had to do some pre-reading and give my PP involvement on the pre-reading, take part in the workshop, be involved in a question and answer session, and then afterwards review the um, the evidence that was written up, and that took about 2 weeks. And then there's also just documentation you can read and give feedback on. So lots of different levels of participation there. And from,
Right.
it can be from mental health on services, it can be on therapies, it can be on a particular medication, it can be on what type of. I did one recently on an endoscope, so the
Yeah.
procedure for endoscopies, looking at the best tool. There's as the NHS is diverse and treatments are diverse, it's all specialisms.
Yeah. 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 And just to get in terms of time, how much of your time is taken in doing PPIE activities? I understand that it's not a commitment, like you are full-time committed into something. It's quite flexible. But yourself, how much of your time is taken into doing PPIE activities?
It's always a choice. I will only
Yeah.
take part in something which is genuinely of interest to me. So, really, mental health areas, dementia, and where I see that there will be impact. If it's something that I feel is tokenistic, it's just ticking a box. I don't get involved. As I say, I look at how busy I am, what the care's like for my father, and then I choose activities accordingly. So some of the work I do may just be a one-off workshop, a one-off meeting, and it's a 2-hour workshop one day, and that's it, over and done with. So more of a focus group type
Right.
involvement. It may be a longer term commitment. So, for example, with King's College London at the moment, I am working on an application with the Wellcome Health Trust, who funded that, and that's over a 3-year period. So I've been involved on that for 2 years. There's another year left on that project, and my time on that is usually one hour meeting a week.
Right.
And there are subgroups, so I can choose. I could be busy like a full-time job,
Right.
yeah, but then you can also just choose as and when you have a capacity.
Right. Thank you so much. So I see Silas has raised his hand there. Silas, do you want to come in?
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes.
we can hear you. Yeah.
Thank you, Rachel, to give us an insight on what you do. I've got just 2 questions. What are the remunerations for your involvement? And the second question is, how many studies have you been involved since you started?
So most people and most organisations follow the NIHR guidelines. Now, it's just gone up in February of this year to £27.50 an hour. So most of the organisations see that as the benchmark point. It was 25 just before February, and that will be paid. Most places you can choose whether you receive it into your bank account or whether you receive vouchers, because many people that do PPIE are claiming benefits, and obviously any income can affect their benefits. So it's very helpful that it can also be given in vouchers. You can always choose not to have it as well.
Okay.
But that is the standard rate. There has been work that I've done where they've said they will give you a £10 voucher and you might do a 2-hour workshop, or a £20 voucher, and sometimes no payments made. Um, I do disagree with that, but I have done it. If I think, well, this is a worthy piece of research, I will do it. But generally, the benchmark £27.50. And was your second question, Silas? Did you ask how long I've been doing it?
How many studies?
That's what. How many studies you've been involved in?
Oh gosh, I have been involved. I couldn't count. I would say small projects, maybe 40 over the years, and
Wow.
big projects, I'd say about 10 that are that I've completed. And at the moment, big projects, I'd say 1, 2, 3, about 4 ongoing big projects, which I can incorporate into my life.
All right.
Right.
Oh, thank you. You're quite busy.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Just a follow-up to that, Rachel. Do you actually get recognized for the work that you do? When the publications are done, is your name mentioned? Do you choose to get your name mentioned in those projects? What is your usual approach?
So we have the choice of being named as a co-author on papers. So they always ask you, would you like to be included as a co-author? And you can choose not to. But I think, hey, I've always wanted to. I wish I was a doctor, so I've always said, yeah. So I'm a co-author on many documents, and again, that is a choice. So that's extremely, welcome to receive. And I have had some lovely letters or emails of appreciation of the work that we've done, and I've even had little gifts through the post, like a nice Christmas card that said just thinking of you at this time when you did all this involvement, or a nice little thank you card, or just an email just to say thank you. So that's always welcomed. And named on projects as well, that this work was done with the help of Rachel Hill, PPIE advisor.
Right. Oh, great. Right. And you do mention that, getting involved in PPIE has actually transformed your lives. In what way would you say this has actually transformed your life?
When I lost my job as a teacher, I was very depressed and very down, and I felt quite worthless. I'm not, this current demonisation of people that aren't working by the government. What worth was I in life? What value was I adding to the country? PPIE has given me that self-esteem back, that sense of purpose, that I am making a difference, that actually I'm not working in the traditional sense. I sometimes say to people I'm self-employed. I feel empowered. I have much more respect for myself. I know that I'm making a difference. Personally, I don't like people that complain about how bad things are but don't do anything about it. I'm doing something about it. I'm helping people with dementia in my local community. So there's a real feeling of pride and confidence. When I go to my GP now, I will say, well, actually, I don't need that. I don't want this. This is what I need. And just confidence in, with my local council. It's just given that confidence. And then the spin-off effect for my husband, for my family, they see me much more fulfilled with meaning and purpose again in life. So it has a much wider, a ripple effect, really.
Wow, you're actually doing amazing work, Rasha, I should say. I think, and your record really, getting involved in more than 40 small projects and other big projects, it's actually probably more than what other professionals are actually giving as output. So that's an amazing record there, and the consistency as well is quite amazing. And I'm sure that I would like to believe that you now have got a lot of technical knowledge of research and a lot of health things, and actually looking at health from a public health point, and looking at health at a broader scale. I think you've actually gained such things because this project that you're working on, they're not looking at individuals only, but they are looking at the wider community as well. So I would like to believe that it is really given you a broader look, a broader perspective of health.
Definitely, and I think it's certainly made me more knowledgeable. I mean, I come from education, an educational background, but the world of academia at universities and research is a whole different world. And
Different, yeah.
I've learnt all about new words, a new language like longitudinal and latitudinal studies.
Yeah.
I've learned about things in data about trusted research environments and how data's collected and stored. I have this. I always hated maths at school, and now I have much more of appreciation of data. And I used to think it was for geeks and it wasn't important, but I understand its use now, and things that to me were very alien in the past. I think, yeah, I know a little bit more about that. So yeah, it's just made me a richer person. And I must say as well, um, this work gives me the opportunity to come into contact with people from all ethnicities, all cultures, all over the world,
Yeah.
refugees, asylum seekers, homeless people. And I have this depth of knowledge now that I thought I understood. But actually, when you have one-to-one conversations with these people, I have learned so much, from Muslims, from Afro-Caribbeans. I'm learning all the time. It's just, I do a meeting with people from New Zealand and Australia, and learning all about the Aborigines and the discrimination and the problems that they have in accessing health. It's just like I didn't know. I didn't, you think you know about things, and
Yeah.
when you actually have conversations with people, with homeless people, they're looked on negatively, with refugees, asylum seekers, with all the current negativity. Opened my eyes. It's been fantastic.
Wow, amazing. And Rachel, you are a carer yourself. You look after your father. Um, um, do you also get your father involved in PPIE in any way? Uh,
Yes. Oh, yes. We do some wonderful work together.
uh,
Dad is he's so funny. So there was actually a recent project. Because quite often when I've been involved in something, people say, "Oh, you're involved in us with this." So this is with Dementia Forward. I did sort of work on nature. So I take my father out into nature, and we had a
yeah.
booklet to work through on identifying birds and listening to sounds and looking at trees. And it was great fun, and he could access that. So I did this activity over about 4 weeks. That was the research, and then fed back on had it been helpful to him, had it been helpful to me. They got in touch with me again and said they'd like to do some more work. And would me and Dad be prepared to be involved in that on getting outside? So it's really beneficial too. I mean, Dad doesn't know what he's doing, but they sent me a voucher for £25, and they said, "Dad, a voucher for £25." So I took him off shopping to get a
Oh,
t-shirt, and
nice,
yeah, and
nice.
it's fun. Or they asked me. Obviously, Dad doesn't have much cognitive skills, so they asked for my thoughts on how he copes with things, and I can I obviously reply on behalf of him. So as much as possible, but projects like this, getting out into nature with Dad, were just wonderful.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and so there's whenever anything comes up like that, yes, please get me
Right,
involved.
yeah. I say that because many people wouldn't think that somebody who is living with dementia can actually get involved in research, as PPIE, and actually contribute meaningfully to research. But you're just confirming with us that your dad has been involved in some of the projects that you yeah.
Definitely. And I mean, that was something that was done. We did that independently, but sometimes it's a meeting like this. So Dad will be sat with me, and he just listens, and they talk to my dad, and they might discuss music, and yeah, as long as I'm there to speak for him or to prompt him, you can absolutely get them involved.
Perfect. So I'll be happy to know. Probably, I think we've covered part of it. Just a wide range of some of I'd say types of research that you have been involved in. Of course, you have mentioned a new treatment for dementia, and what other types of research? It could be maybe if you've been involved in new technologies, appraising new technologies. I'll be happy to know a wide range of other research that you've been involved. Of course, you've already mentioned things like surveys. What are the things that you've been involved in?
Currently with Imperial College London, I'm involved in some projects for dementia sufferers, and it's called Care. So it's a device that you have in the house, and it can monitor a person's movements. So it can monitor hydration levels, it can monitor movement if they're not moving, and it's done by I think they can either wear a necklace or a watch, and it's monitoring movement. So that's a product in development at the moment, which I haven't actually been sent it to use in my father's home because I joined the project after it had already started. But I'm certainly involved in monitoring it. So that's a technology. I've been involved in helping develop some apps. So some apps for, there was one on psychosis. There's one on for sufferers of dementia who are in the early stages and that can still access technology, to give them activity to do, like memory activities. So in app development and using things that would be, again, my father isn't able to access that, but I can certainly comment on his behalf on how he used to be. So yeah, it can be app development, it can be something in the house. I'm just trying to think of there was one a year ago which was on developing just a music playlist. So it was where you could get all their favorite music, and they could put it all into a playlist, and it was a very, very simple app again. But yeah, that's with Imperial College London, and I'm part of their dementia working group. So again,
that's quite interesting project, a wide variety, and these are quite big institutions we are talking about. Imperial College, these are quite reputable institutions that you're involved with. So ourselves as a home care provider, so we have been promoting uptake of research in the home care sector across Greater Manchester, and it's always a challenge to get more home care providers involved in research. Yes, it's a new thing to many people in the home care sector, but can you testify that probably these things getting involved in research will be quite helpful to service users as well as carers, who are looking after people in their homes.
Definitely, because through my work with carers and people involved in just old, not just people with dementia, but older years. I mean, my dad's 83, my mum's 81. And she doesn't have dementia, but she still needs care. I get first-hand information on new products coming out, and they might say that so I'm very interested in a tracker for my dad at the moment, so we know where
Yeah.
he is, because he's managing to escape from the house at times. So
Yeah.
I can say to them, they're developing a new tracker, and they want to know what's missing from current trackers, and how best to develop their new one.
Yeah.
So I've learned which are the best ones at the moment. Yeah. For the
Right.
best price, because price is often
Yeah.
important,
Yeah.
and what to look for. So by doing research, I listen to other people who say, well, we've used this one, this helps. We didn't find that one very helpful, but we bought this one. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I can take that back to my dad, and I can think, so I get ideas. People talk about things like diet and what they're eating, and this has helped or that hasn't helped. Um, yeah, I just get so much knowledge and information on new products,
Yeah.
on what's the best product at the moment, or ways of coping, or have you heard of, you can do this therapy, or if you
Right.
take your dad swimming or something. So I'm learning all the time. This helps us, my dad loves this, or and my dad doesn't like this so much, but we tried this. So it's like, oh wow, I might try that with my dad, or my mum.
Oh, perfect. This is lovely. Um, um, and of course, I mean, yourself, you're quite open to research, but there are some who are quite skeptical about research, Um, I'll be happy to know what else convinced you, I mean, to get involved? Or what other things can you say to encourage other people to actually get involved,
Yeah. Mm,
and actually move away from the skepticism around research?
mm,
I know people have got their justifications around that, but for you, it has been beneficial to you to get involved in research. What else can you say to other people that probably do not have the same information knowledge that you've received by getting involved?
mm. Um, at first, I was a little skeptical. I thought, well, they're going to get all this information and all this data on me. What are they going to do with it? Are they going to go and look at my bank accounts? Are they going to go into my health records? Will it affect my insurance? Will it
Right.
affect my mortgage? Um, I did have those concerns at first, but I have to say, hand on heart, researchers are passionate people. They are in their job, and it's not an easy job, because they want to make a difference too. Over the years, I'm absolutely, there's always going to be somebody maybe who has bad intentions. We know that may happen.
Yeah.
The vast majority of researchers perhaps have loved ones themselves, that they are doing work because it means something to them, or
Yeah.
they are
Yeah.
they are passionate in their field, and they are like me, like us. They want to make a difference in the world. That's why they go into medicine. That's why they become a surgeon or a psychiatrist, because they want to make a difference to people and improve people's lives. And when I speak to them at face-to-face events, sometimes, which I do, or online, the passion in these people is as strong as mine. And in everybody I've encountered, they have the same interest as us. They're not interested in our bank accounts. They won't find much in most of ours, would
Mm,
they? Um,
mm.
they want to improve people's lives, and they
Oh,
want to, say, I did this in my work, and look how it's transformed people's lives. They are
mm.
genuine like us.
Right, amazing. And you've been involved in projects that have went on to Parliament, resulting, putting some suggestions to Parliament, and
Yes.
probably influenced policy.
Yes, definitely. I mean, the work I did at King's College London on the Mental Health Act, that went and influenced policy. I'm currently involved. I receive PIP, benefit. And there's a big review on at the moment, the TIMS review on PIP and the threat of removing benefits, not just PIP, but disability benefits for people. And this will greatly affect me. It will greatly affect my mother and father. So I am involved in a steering board on that, on where they're doing research and PPIE on taking that to the government. And at least I'm doing something, because this is terrible. If they remove benefits for people, and people's lives will be affected. And if they remove the things that I received, the carers allowance for my dad, it will massively affect my care for him. So yeah, I see that perhaps it makes a small difference, but at least we're doing something. And generally, the work that I do with Disability Rights UK, it does have an impact. It goes to the government at least. So at least I'm not rolling over and doing nothing, which I think would be the worst things.
Amazing work you're doing, Rachel. I should say, you're doing amazing. You're wonderful, and I really appreciate your involvement in PPIE projects and all the other work that you're doing, advocacy, pushing for human rights. I really appreciate you're doing amazing. I'm gonna give others a chance. Is there anybody who wants to ask Rachel something or contribute in any other way? I'm quite mindful that we have around just more than a little bit more than 10 minutes the meeting. Anyone would want to say something, ask a question? Right. So I think they're still gathering their thoughts. So we ourselves we do have some projects that we will definitely want Rachel to be involved. For some of you who are not aware, we are developing a toolkit to be used in home care research. And one of the things that's quite important in the development of that toolkit is actually having someone contributing as PPIE, and that the toolkit itself has to be written in simple and plain language on what research is all about and how do you get involved. And it has to be used by service users, it has to be used by carers, and some of the people that are not, in higher if have not achieved higher qualifications, but they must be able to find that toolkit quite useful. So PPIE has become quite central in everything that research is all about today, and any project that you do with NIHR these days, you've got to have PPIE. Not only NIHR, it has become a global thing as well. You've got to push for PPIE. The service users need to be involved. The caregivers need to be involved. Is there anybody who wants to say something before I maybe give Rachel a chance to probably say one or few things to as a close to this meeting? Anyone wants to say something? Right, I can see Annie has raised a hand. Annie, go ahead.
Yes, I just want to say that Rachel's story has been inspiring, because I don't like maths, and I don't really like reading so much. But from what Rachel has said, this looks like something we'll be looking into. And we are looking to collaborate with you, Ivan. How do we get started? And what is PPIE? And how do we get started, actually? Thank you.
Thank you, Annie. PPIE is patient public involvement and engagement. And basically, we're saying patients, be it the public as well, must be involved in co-creation of any projects that relate to any service that they're going to deliver, be it in research or be it in actually program development. They need to be involved in developing anything. And yeah, we are quite open to collaborating with as many home care providers as possible. I understand that you're already on our home care platform. If there are any opportunities that are available, we are happy to share with anyone who's on our portal or within our network. But one of the projects that we actually working on, I think Melody can actually help to distribute, send out an email with information, because we are looking for 5 people that can get involved in as PPIE in a project, which is more like a new training available that will be available for carers, but it will be in a research setting. So we do need 3 carers and 2 service users. So that's already a project that's available. The PPIE meeting will just be 1 hour, being led by University of Manchester.
Ready for this webinar? How are you guys feeling? How are you feeling, Fahi?
Right. So there's some feedback there from somewhere else. Right. So actually, Melody can share with Annie if you want to get involved in that project as PPIE. She'll be able to share more information. But anyone who is interested in many other projects that we are doing, we often share via emails. So I hope I answered some of your questions. Rachel, would you want to answer some of the questions raised by Annie?
No, I just thank you for saying that, Annie. And yeah, I find concentration on reading lengthy documents extremely difficult too. So this is why a lot of the research that we do is producing plain English summaries, which are short, easily accessible, easy language, which make it so much easier for us. So that's another positive to it. But I really would encourage people. It's fun. I actually have a lot of fun, and I've made some virtual friends online, from communities that I didn't, previously know much about. So I certainly would encourage anybody. And indeed, if anybody thinks of anything afterwards that maybe you don't think of now, if you let Irving know, and then he can ask me, I can get back to you. I'd be more than happy to do that. So yeah, it'd be a pleasure to help as much as I can and engage with you in person if anybody would like that.
Right. Thank you so much, Rachel. Anyone else would want to say something? Yeah, Silas, go ahead.
Just a few words about the program that I'm on. I'm a social care nurses research and development intern. So what it means is I'm part of the NIH Arab drive to strengthen research capacity and culture in the social care, primarily in the community. The goal is just to create a research-friendly environment where practice is continually informed by evidence. So as part of my project, I'm actually looking at, I've got a project that I'm looking at the workforce in the home care sector, which is the home care assistants that deliver care in people's homes. So my project is called Caring for the Carers. We are looking at the causes of stress and anxiety and burnout among home care workers. So as part of my project, I've designed a questionnaire that I'm distributing to all home care providers and also to home care workers in Greater Manchester. So if on the call there are home care providers or there are home care workers, I would like to reach out to them. We'll be able to send them a link to the questionnaire. It only takes about 10 to 15 minutes to complete, and it will be helpful for us to gather evidence and from the workers themselves, then also look at what the literature is saying. Then at the end of it, recommendations to home care providers in Greater Manchester. And also the aim really is to look after the workforce so that they deliver quality care, which ultimately will improve the quality of life of our service users. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Silas. Rachel, do you want to say something before we close the meeting? Or anybody else? Right. Anyway, so I think, yeah, I'll just close this meeting. I really appreciate Rachel. Thank you so. Oh, yeah, yeah.
I have something to say.
Okay, go on. Yeah.
Sorry, guys. I have a survey that I would appreciate if all of us can just fill in. It's about these meetings that we've been having. We just want to know how helpful they've been to you and how best we can improve them for you. So I'll share it with everyone that has attended and even those that haven't. I would appreciate your feedback. Thank you.
Right. Thank you so much, Melody. Melody is the one who is behind coordination of these meetings. So let's help her in trying to improve the meetings so that it gets better and it can reach out to more people. Thank you so much, Melody. Thank you so much, Rachel, for being here with us this morning. I really appreciate. Annie, you want to say something?
Yes, very quickly for Melody. When you send the form, could you make it in a Google form so that it's easy for us to fill in and then just press send or submit so that we will respond to that. If it's something complicated, then you might not be getting enough response. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Annie.
Okay, thank you. It is a Google form. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So Rachel is having problems with volume, but that's okay. Thank you so much. I really appreciate Rachel for joining us this morning. It has been a wonderful discussion, and I'm sure we are all inspired to get involved in research in some way or the other. If you are not the academic, you can be the PPIE on the other end, and you still get involved in co-producing research and become a professional in some way along those lines. So I really appreciate. Thank you, everyone. Let's meet again next month, towards the end of the month in April, as we do another meeting. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.